friends, welcome to another episode of Killingly Public Library's craft videos. Today we're going to make a fall inspired vase. I'm going to start with a sheet of cardboard. Now this is just a small piece to kind of show you the technique we're going to run with, and then I'm just going to pull out a piece I've already done. So this piece would not work exactly right for me because it's too small, but the piece that I have already completed is perfect. So I have several wet paper towels, and I am just going to wet the top of the cardboard here. We want to soak it really good. And you may have to keep applying, but you can see the difference in shade where it's wet and where it's dry. And as soon as I get some of this really good and wet, I'll show you what we're doing. All right, once it's very wet, and mine is not really extremely wet, I could certainly wet it some more. You're gonna peel the top layer of paper off of the corrugated cardboard. And then you'll repeat on the other side, wetting it and peeling the opposite side, the back or the front, whichever. And this isn't going to peel well because I did not wet it, but you can see where it was wet. It is peeling pretty well. And you would want to measure your cardboard to make sure it will go around your jar. We're going to, as I said, make a fall inspired vase. So you want the cardboard to be able to wrap around your jar. This is, like I said, just a scrap piece I grabbed. I wanted my corrugation to go vertically, but maybe you would prefer yours to go horizontally. That is totally up to you. I just like the look with the vertical and, then the flowers coming out of the top. So I do have a piece that I have already done, and you can see it's very flimsy. It's great for bending and wrapping around the jar versus a piece of cardboard. If I tried to bend this, it's just gonna crease and break. So you want to peel the two outside layers off, and you will have this. Now, I didn't bother taking all of the paper off of this side because it's going to be facing the jar. One side is, and so I decided this would be the side rather than fiddle with little pieces that had stayed kind of stuck on. But you can certainly peel them off. They do peel off and look fine. So there's some little papers. Now, sometimes you're going to find some cardboard that, I don't know if it's crimped or what happens, but it does look a little differently. That's okay, because we're going to use some ribbon, so that will cover this, but it also gives a neat look as well. Even if you didn't use the ribbon, maybe you kind of like the way it looks. But my plan was to use some ribbon. And I'm going to just adhere this to the jar. You want it to be as tall as your jar. It's okay if it's a little taller, but you wouldn't want it to be not as tall as your jar because we don't want to see the jar. I'm trying to transform a jar into something, I don't know, that you could display. And I mean, I'm calling it a vase, but maybe you want to use it as a pencil holder. Anything you want works great. So I'm just going to dab a little glue. I'm using the hot glue, and that will keep the cardboard in place for me. And then I'm just going to wrap it all around and add some more glue. Now, I have maybe an inch of an overlap where I don't I don't necessarily need that, but I'm not going to trim it down. I'm just going to leave it. You can trim yours down if you prefer. And we'll just dab a little more glue. And I'm going to dab it here where the overlap would be as well. So I've got a little more glue on my jar and a little bit on my cardboard. I know this is a pretty simple craft. The video should be pretty quick. The hardest part will be peeling all the paper off, you know, getting it nice and wet and peeling it off. And you'll have to let your cardboard probably dry before you do this step, but that's okay. I did mine ahead of time. We don't have to wait during the video. I also made a bow ahead of time because sometimes they can be so fiddly. So I've got a bow and I've got some ribbon. I grabbed a few different kinds. I wasn't sure really what I wanted to go with, but since it was fall, I was looking for complementary colors for fall. And I decided to go with this one. I just really liked it. It's kind of got some beige to it, but it also has the dark brown and a little rust color maybe. And I liked it. So you can just estimate what you need to wrap around your jar, because depending on the jar, mine will be about 9 inches or so, because I think I measured my cardboard to be about 9.5. But you may have a smaller jar or a larger jar. So whatever you have at home, and these should be items that most everybody has and can work with and play with. Most everybody has some scrap ribbon, and who doesn't have a jar and some cardboard, right? So I've figured out where I need this to be. I'm just going to trim it a bit. And I'm going to dab some glue on here so that I can attach the ribbon. And I'm just giving, I'm leaving a tiny bit of the cardboard at the top. You can or you can't. It's totally up to you. I just thought I would leave a little bit there. And I'm going to dab a little glue here and there as I wrap the ribbon around, just to help kind of hold it in place. And I dabbed a little under the ribbon just so that where they lay together, it lays flat and it's not lifted up at all. And I then am going to add my bow. And like I said, it's pretty simple, very easy, not much to it. And I chose to do my bow separate. Maybe you're a great bow tire and you want to tie your bow with the ribbon, you know, wrap it around and tie it up. This is the way I went because I thought it would be easy for me, especially whipping out the video. You could also, if you wanted, you could add a little ribbon at the bottom. It's kind of nice. It dresses it up a little more. If you like that. Actually, why don't we? Let's do it, shall we? Okay. So let's measure that around. And I'll dab a little glue back here. And with this, I'm going to keep it pretty close to the edge, as close as I can. And there's my fall-inspired vase. Now, I wanted the natural look of the cardboard, but maybe that's not something you like. Maybe you want to paint it. You certainly could do that. Just be careful. It is a very thin paper now, so it is going to kind of absorb the paint pretty well, and I would probably paint it on the jar if that was the route you were going to go. That way it's already round, you know, around the jar, and the paint might not crack, you know, versus if it's paint and then it's dried and now you're trying to wrap it, it could crack a little and be a tad brittle. So you could do that. But I thought it was a very nice look with just the plain cardboard. And I've got some artificial flowers here just so you can kind of get a look. And look at that, how gorgeous that is. And you were just gonna throw the cardboard and the jar away anyway. So just a few little things and you can make something so pretty. And if you don't have any artificial flowers, you certainly could use real flowers. Just be careful when you're filling your vase because you don't want to get the cardboard wet. You could also make some paper flowers or some cloth flowers, some book page flowers. We have some videos on some of that, so you certainly can go back in our archives and check out some other videos that might help you with those things. I'm sure you can find some things on the web if you haven't found what you're looking for on our website. And I would love to see your finished projects when they're completed. Please share them with me at info@killinglypl.org. And thanks so much for stopping in today. Until our next craft video, have a great day.